everyone. Happy New Year. It's so great to see you. Hello, hello. Great to have you joining us. Jump in the chat if you'd like. Give us a hello, a happy new year in the chat. Maybe let us know where you're tuning in from if you'd like. We've got a few minutes before we'll officially get started, but so very glad that you're here. My name is Jamie Novak. We may be getting back together, so we know one another, but if we're just meeting for the first time, it's delightful to have you here. Welcome. Here we have everyone tuning in the chat. Hello. Oh my goodness, we've got so much to cover this evening. Glad you're here. Let's jump in with holiday stragglers. And number 12, we're going to do a little countdown. Number 12 on our Declutter challenge, our 12-day Declutter challenge. That's our program this evening, and it's holiday stragglers. So I know it's just the beginning of January, but there's probably at least some things that you're starting to box up and put away, those seasonal items. And so it might be the special gift wrap or those, gift tags and things, because maybe you're done wrapping most of the gifts or all of the gifts. Sometimes you see people into the new year, but there's probably some things decor-wise, decorations, things that you've needed. I'm thinking holiday linens, tablecloths, especially if you want to also think about clothing. Sometimes there's clothing that we just kind of wear this time of year. And instead of leaving it in your closet or your dresser drawer year round, you can actually box it up with your holiday decorations. So holiday stragglers is number 12 on our list. So we're going to count it down. And number 12 is our holiday stragglers. So I know growing up, I can remember my mom would kind of put everything away. And then she would pay us a quarter. I have 3 younger sisters, so the 4 of us, she would pay us 1/4 for each item that we could find that she forgot to box up and put away. So something like a welcome mat, right? That you wouldn't necessarily step outside your home and be like, oh, that, fancy holiday themed welcome mat, an apron. I always would find the soap dispenser in the guest bathroom because it was usually a gingerbread man or something. And so those are the kinds of things. And then you would get all your quarters. And sometimes I wonder, did she leave things out intentionally just so that we could find them so we could make our quarters? I don't know. I'll never know. But I always like to think that maybe she did. But maybe it was just she was really busy and actually truly overlooked those things. So aprons and pot holders and all those holiday things. So if you've already boxed up some of this stuff, what I have is a straggler box. And it's a box that's much more easy to get to. So especially if you put things away in storage and you're like, oh no, now I've got this one more thing that needs to go into the box. And then chances are life's going to get busy. We're not going to get it to the box. It will never make it there. And then we might never see it again because we'll put it in a really safe place for next season, right? So I have a stragglers box, and it's just all the miscellaneous stuff that I forgot to tidy up at the end of the year. And it goes right into that box, and then that box can be put away with everything else. So holiday stragglers is number 12 on our list. And now, as I was sharing that story with you of finding things for a quarter and gave you a few ideas of places to look, things like shower curtains and, of course, the linens, even bed sheets, maybe they're super specific to the holiday season. These are the kinds of items that can be packed up. And if you've already put some things away, that holiday straggler box can be really great so that it's really easy to find what you're looking for. That's number 12. We're going to count it down together. And so if you're maybe making a little list with us along the way, if holiday stragglers is one that you need to tend to, can we pop that on your to-do list or get it scheduled on your calendar? So sometimes what happens is I'll just, maybe join a program and I'll be taking some notes and I'm like, oh, these are all really good ideas. And then my ideas sit in the notebook and then I don't actually do anything. So if you're looking to take the action on some of the things that we're talking about this evening, maybe scheduling the time to find the holiday stragglers would be a great option. And this is the kind of thing that we can, again, turn it into a fun project. So let's say you're going to be watching an hour-long television show. What if at every commercial you popped up and just checked each room, right? So one room, one commercial break, the next commercial break, the next room, and just be sure, casting your eye over the area and going, oh, yep, totally forgot that. So holiday stragglers is number 12 on our list. We're going to count it down together. Number 11 is very holiday-ish, and it is the holiday greeting cards. So did you receive some? Did you send some? Did you mean to send some and they didn't get out the door yet? It happens. But here we are with our holiday greeting cards. Now, I'm specifically talking about the ones that you have received. It seems like maybe we're getting fewer than ever before. I know some people are doing more of the electronic cards, but you're probably still receiving a handful of cards, if not more. And some of them may be very dear to you, written by loved ones, and we treasure what they wrote, or we treasure having a card with their handwriting on it. And so those are the ones that we probably definitely want to keep. The one from like the local pizza parlor, or, maybe your landscape person. It's lovely, but it had its moment, right? And so those are the ones that you may not feel like you need to keep year to year. So if you have them, might you punch a hole in a corner of each card and then string a ribbon through them and sort of make a book for each year that you could look back on? And then becomes a little bit of a craft project, but it's also like very organized. So that's a possibility. The photo cards, as Tina says in the chat, sometimes they're so hard to let go of. They're lovely. And maybe you don't want to let go of them. But if not, those might be some of those holiday stragglers from number 12 that need to get put away. Otherwise, they end up like crammed in the kitchen junk drawer. Something gets stuck on them. They get crumpled. And so we're not really giving them the treatment that they deserve if they're so special that we want to save them. So I've made those sort of holiday books, if you will, by stringing a ribbon through them through the years. And it's kind of nice to bring them out and be like, oh, I remember this one. That was lovely. So holiday greeting cards. And I'm just going to also add here for number 11, update your address book. So if you maybe receive some cards and someone changed their address, or you're not sure, or maybe they have a new family member and you wanted to, include them next year when you write out your card. If you do what I did, I just tucked those little slips into the address book, which coincidentally is not the same thing as actually updating your address book. And then when you hold the address book, everything falls out the bottom. Is that just me? I hope it's not just me. So this is the time. Again, we're going to use these little windows. And if you joined us for programs in the past, or if you've read my newest book, Keep This, Toss That, you already know, if we're friends, you know how much I love setting a timer for 10 minutes. So Keep This, Toss That is written in checklist format, and it really allows us to kind of go space by space, little by little. And setting a timer for 10 minutes, I think, is just the right amount of time to make some progress. So if you've got a lot of updates to make to your address book, you may not be able to get them all done, but you'll certainly get started. And so many times getting started is the most difficult part. So number 12 on our list is all about those holiday stragglers, and we're counting down to number 11. It's the holiday greeting cards. So whether you're going to make a little book with them, maybe you're going to find some to let go of, maybe you're going to put them in a treasured box, and then away they go to come out next year and you can enjoy them once again. Well, we're down to number 10 on our list, and it's all about the returns. So this is an opportunity to get organized, declutter your home of things that you know need to go back to the store, and also put some money back in your pocket at the same time, most likely. So whether it was something that needed to be exchanged or it's a true return, it's not that much fun to have to look up your order and print out the slip, or put everything together in a box and then get it where it needs to go. But today's a day to do it, right? This week is the perfect time to get those returns done. There usually is a deadline. You've got the sort of return window, and when it closes, it's usually closed for good. You can certainly ask, and sometimes a manager can override that. And they probably at that time wouldn't maybe give money back, but they might give a gift card. So at least, the money is yours. But yes, this is a perfect time to look at those returns. So if you ordered something online and it wasn't quite right, something needs to go back, you need to exchange something, it's a perfect time to do it. When I joined you for our program last time, I told you all about my errand bag. And let me know in the chat, are you using an errand bag? Do you love the idea? If you're not familiar, the errand bag It's such a really easy way to keep all your stuff together for returns and any other errand that you'll have. So maybe it's library books to go back to the library. Maybe it's going to be those returns that need to go back, so you can put the product and then you can put the little receipts and you have everything that you need. It's just makes it so easy. When you're heading out the door, grab the bag, and then when you're coming back in, bring the bag back in with you. And you'd be surprised, right? How many times you find yourself near somewhere that you didn't expect to. And because you have your items with you, you can do it right there. Virginia says, we love that errand bag and use it. I love it. And Maria reminds us, going back to those greeting cards, that she uses them as gift tags for the next year. And that is such a lovely idea. So Maria, it sounds like maybe you're cutting a few things out of the beautiful cards, making those little gift tags, and then popping those gift tags away for next year. We love a good reuse. And Virginia's got that errand bag ready to go. It just makes life so much easier when you've got everything together, instead of you get to the store and you're like, oh, I needed that. But don't forget with the returns, Doris likes it too. I'm so excited. With the returns, if you didn't have the receipt, as long as you have the credit card, they're often able to look it up, or maybe, even buy your information. So it's just perfect. And then Mary Jo says that she actually sends her greeting cards to St. Jude's Ranch for children. And we'll go ahead and see if I can get that address for you, and we'll pop it in the chat. Mary Jo, what a great reminder. St. Jude's Ranch for Children, and that's on St. Jude's Street. So it's a lovely idea. Now, they only will need the front of your card, and you are going to have to mail it to them. So to save on the cost of the shipping, you might go ahead and just put just the front of the card. You can tear off the back. They don't need it. They're going to make new cards, and then they sell them. So it's sort of a fundraiser for them, if you will. So it's St. Jude's Ranch for Children, 100 St. Jude's Street, and that's in Boulder City, Nevada, 89005. So I'll say it one more time, and I'll also put it in the chat for you. Lisa does this as well. It's so good. I love this. Here we go. So that's St. Jude's Ranch for Children, 100 St. Jude's Street, Boulder City, Nevada, 89005. Now, Sherry says that she sends these media mail because the media mail rate is so much less expensive, and it might take a little longer to get there, but plenty of time. So that would be great. The other thing is, if you're doing a collection, like maybe you're in a club or an organization, or at work, or just neighbors, family, and everyone puts them in, you can do sort of like that smallest priority box, or not priority, but a flat rate envelope or flat rate box. And then, you can go ahead and put them all in. Now, Janet is reusing one of her bags from the supermarket as her errand bag. I'm loving all of these reuse ideas, and you're all so clever with this. It's just spot on. So yay. This is the thing. I don't know that you're going to do all 12 of these tasks. I don't know that they all necessarily apply. They may not all be a priority for you, but the idea is that, if I just do one or two, it's like, okay, I'm doing stuff. And then we come back for next program and we do one or two things more. And the cumulative effect of these small steps, it's a big win. So very, very excited. Linda has another way of sharing those cards with the senior nursing home. And Edith, media rate is just, you can only mail like paper goods and books and actual media, CDs and things, but it's a much less expensive reduced rate. So thanks, Sherry, for that. Yeah, so they just need the front of the card. They don't need the back. So you can just send the front of the card, and it's a perfect way of sharing them. Now, here's the thing. Those cards could go into your errand bag, and then you can actually get them out the door, because for years I saved them, but then I didn't actually send them. So many ideas. Well, we tackled number 12 in our countdown, and that was our holiday stragglers. Number 11 was all about those greeting cards, and number 10 are returns. So number 9 on our list is gifts. Now, some of the gifts might actually be returns, and that's totally fine. Someone that cares about you, loves you, thought enough of you to go and buy or make a gift for you, they wouldn't want you to be burdened by something that's not quite right for you. So the way I think of a gift is, the gift is the sort of physical representation of the care that that person has, right? It's their feelings, but in gift form. So the gift is actually the thought that someone thought of you and gave you something. That's the gift, in my opinion, versus the actual item, whatever it may be. And so whether you need to return or exchange or give it away, maybe it's something that you pack away and bring back next season so that it's more of a seasonal piece if it's not quite right for you year round. But number 9 on our list, when I say gifts, sometimes it's a return, but more often than not, it's something we're keeping. It just needs a home. When it comes to getting organized, everything that we own needs a place to live. And when we get new stuff, it often sits out on tabletops, countertops, and flat surfaces because we haven't identified where it's going to live within our home. So we need to identify where we're going to store it, because once we figure out where it goes, it's much easier to put it away. It's impossible to put something away until you've determined where it belongs. So when we talk about number 9 on our countdown, it's all about the gifts and what new item did you get or new items did you get? And this may actually be the time to try out the 1 in, 1 out rule. So 1 in, 1 out is the idea that we're going to bring 1 new thing in and 1 thing's going to go out. And actually, I'm going to increase that guideline for you. What if 1 new thing comes in and 2 things go out? Now, instead of keeping even with what we have, we're going to bring some in and let some go. So when it comes to the gifts, we have to identify where they're going to live. And if it's replacing something that you already have, then we can say so long to the one you've had and enjoy the new one. So number 9 on our list is all about the gift. All right, well, number 8 on our list, we're counting it down together and we're talking about holiday leftovers and actually anything left over from 2023. So this is going to look like food leftovers that probably need to be gone at this point. So fridge or freezer. Did anyone make a bag of donations that they meant to get out in 2023, but it's still hanging around? This is the time to make it happen. So 2023 leftovers. This is all the stuff that you are not going to finish for whatever reason. You tried a new hair product. It's not right for you. You tried a new cologne. You don't like the scent, but you can't return it. You tried a new laundry detergent. You tried a new soap. It's just not you. Why are we holding on to it? We tried a new marinade. Wasn't really your favorite. Can't do anything about it. Let it go. So 2023, we're looking for those leftovers that are still hanging around, and it's just time to turn that calendar page. Clean slate, fresh start, here we go. So 2023 leftovers. And if it includes donations that you meant to get out the door, then let's take a look at scheduling a pickup through donationtown.org. If you've joined me in the past, you know you've heard me talk about this one, donationtown.org. Now, Donation Town is not coming to get your items. Donation Town is sort of like one website where you can schedule with many national and more locally community-based organizations, and they will come. So donationtown.org, it's donation, town, T-O-W-N, like city, but town, donation town, and that's a .org, not a .com. When you get there, there's a button that says schedule a pickup, hop in your zip code, and it will show you who's coming. And it changes all the time based on truck availability and volunteers and warehouse space and all the stuff. But you can schedule your pickup and they tell you what they'll take. So there are places that take textbooks and there's places that take furniture. So this is what we're looking for, donationtown.org, and you can schedule your pickup. Don't forget, there's also Savers. Kelly says that she goes there and drops off. So that's perfect. And they'll take clothes, they'll take Christmas decorations, they'll take holiday things, they'll take office supplies. I mean, just about anything that you have that's, you know, usable. And let's say like your jeans has a little tear in it, right? A pair of jeans, no problem. They won't put it probably in the clothing section. They're going to go ahead and put that right into like the crafting section. So someone that's making like a crossbody bag and they're making it with their, you know, jeans, they don't necessarily want to take a good pair of jeans and cut them up. So this would be a perfect way to do it. So hopefully you have some things that you can share, leftovers hanging out from 2023, and you can schedule that with donationtown.org. They will give you a receipt for tax deduction if it applies. I know it doesn't apply to everyone, but if it does, that would be perfect. And so, Tina, yes, I think Donation Town is more of a US-based organization. but I'll see if I can find something that would pertain to you up there in Canada. So thanks for tuning in. I think Tina may be tuning in from farthest away, but we'll see. All right. Well, let's take a look, and we'll be moving on. If you remember, we started with holiday stragglers and then holiday greeting cards and then returns. Then we talked gifts. And the idea with number 9, gifts, is that, oh my gosh, if you haven't identified where they're going to live, they're probably going to live on a table or a countertop until you figure it out. I remember a few years ago, we were gifted by very generous friends one of those really big, like it's a food processor, but it's a blender, but it's also a mixer, all the things. And then it has like 20,000 parts. And for months, it was like May, and I still hadn't figured out what to do with it because there were sharp blades and there were all these accessories. And it just sat on the countertop for all those months because it didn't take the time to figure out what to do with it. And sadly, the entire thing, the motor just started smoking one day. I think we used it way too many times. But just the other day, I was in the kitchen cabinet and I found one of the pieces that goes to it. And I'm like, well, that has been recycled for many, many months now. But still, I have a component to it, but I didn't get the same one again. So now what am I supposed to do with the component? And I think we all know the answer. Say it with me. Out it goes. It's a toss. So 2023 leftovers is number 8 on our list. And number 7, we're doing a little countdown together. So if you're ready for number 7, it's all about the tax forms. They're starting to come already. And so if you're receiving mail and it's like important tax document, and then you're receiving emails that say your tax form is ready. And then of course, the paper. So I want to share with you a desktop file box. Now, coming up, we're going to have time to do an entire 1-hour program on paper. And I'll be short of showing this in a lot more detail. But because it is the start to a new year, I'd be remiss if we didn't chat about paper for just a moment today. Number 7 on our list, paper and tax documents. This is a desktop file box. So it's a file box. It holds hanging file folders, but it can sit on your desktop. Desktop file box. That's what it's called. You may actually have one. A lot of times you have one that has a lid and a handle. It's the same thing as mine, so you don't have to go buy anything new, but it does hold hanging file folders. So it allows you to kind of keep things front and center, especially for those of us that are very visual. Out of sight, out of mind. If I put things in a filing cabinet, they're as good as gone forever. But right here in a desktop file box, so easy to see what I need. So you have your hanging file folder, and then we're just going to take a sticky note to the inside back of that file folder, and I've labeled it. I've labeled it tax documents, or I've labeled it receipts, or I've labeled it bills to be paid, or I've labeled it recipes for the ones I clip out, but actually it should be labeled recipes I'll never prepare because I never actually prepare them. So you can go ahead, maybe you have a doctor's appointment coming up in 2 weeks, all the information, the referral and your questions and things right here. Doctor's appointment's over, file comes off, and you have a new file folder to work again. And so you're all set. All right, well, tax documents would be a great one to start your file with. But if you're just overwhelmed by paper and the mail continues to arrive, we can start fresh. I wouldn't work on the backlog so much as I would set this up for what's coming tomorrow and then work on the backlog. And it just feels so great to go, oh, I know right where that paper is. And you can go right to your file box. Of course, paper's in the file box and paper's out. If you don't ever take papers out, you're going to outgrow the file box very quickly. So paper's in and paper's out. And that's number 7 on our list of 12. Number 6 brings us to the kitchen counter, the kitchen counter. So although we may not be able to clear the entire thing, there's things that you need to use, and it always depends what style kitchen you have and how much counter space you have, and everyone always wants more, but then when you have more, it just has more clutter. So I don't know, but the kitchen counter, my invitation to you is to put one thing away, one thing. So there's probably something on the kitchen counter that you don't use as often as you thought you did, or it's just a pile of paper, in which case now we know where it can go. Maybe it's something you've been meaning to put away. Maybe it's a gift you received like I did, and it sat there for way too long. So kitchen counter, we're looking to put one thing away. Well, number 5 in our countdown is actually the one that I'm going to invite you to join me for, and we're going to do a little tidy up together. I know sometimes when we have these little jump starts during our time together, there's a really good opportunity to make some progress. And it's kind of like the collective energy of all of us together doing this. It's one of the things I think I get a lot of comments that you look forward to the most. So I hope you're excited for it. We're going to have a 5-minute timer, which I know doesn't sound like a lot of time, but as with every other time we've done it, we're always so surprised at what we can accomplish in just 5 minutes. So we're going to set a timer. Mine's ready on my phone, and I'm just going to not really say much during the 5 minutes because I don't want you to miss anything. You're probably going to be off working. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to join me for this tidy up. But of course, you can always choose your own organizing adventure. So if you're like, oh, I can't do that one right now, don't worry. You can always do something, and I'll give you some alternate ideas if you can't do the one I'm suggesting. But the one I'm suggesting brings us right into our bathroom space, the bathroom space. And we're looking for those single samples. That would be a great one to let go of. These are samples that arrived, I'm sad to say, definitely before we started spending more time at home a few years ago. So they were definitely from before that. And I was like, oh, they're so great. I'm going to use them. But then I didn't want to use them up because they sounded like they were so great. And then I didn't use them. And now I can tell they're totally different inside. And I lost my opportunity to use them, which is kind of a bummer. So it's kind of sad. But listen, I'm going to make the decision, let him go. And next time I get a sample, I've learned just use it. Just use it up. So number 5 on our countdown, this is the one that you can join us for. It's all about that vanity drawer in the bathroom, your makeup bag, your shaving kit, the medicine cabinet. We're looking for supplements that are out of date or you don't take anymore. We're looking for makeup products that just aren't your favorites. The colors changed. You don't like how they apply. Nail polish that's beyond its date. We're looking all in that bathroom space. So maybe there's a hair product that just wasn't quite right. Maybe there's a hair appliance like an extra hair dryer and you don't need 2, or one doesn't quite work, but you're saving it because you kind of liked it, but it doesn't really get the job done. So we're looking for tweezers that don't tweeze and nail files that no longer file, nail clippers that don't clip. You get the idea. We'll also take rusty bobby pins and all the things that you're like, yeah, this should have gone a long time ago. So medicine cabinet, vanity drawer is the invitation. If that space doesn't feel quite right, you can certainly start on any of the ones that we've already talked about. And if you're not able to get up and actually move away from the program right now, you want to kind of stay seated, you probably have your phone nearby or a pile of mail. So you can work on a pile of mail, delete emails, or delete pictures from your phone that you no longer need. We just want to make some progress in these first 5 minutes together. So if everyone's ready, join us in the chat with a yes or a Y. Who's ready to jump in to our little teeny tiny tidy up together? It's going to be 5 minutes. We've got those Y's coming in. The energy is high. I love it. So I'll just give you time check-ins, but I'm not actually going to say anything. That way you won't miss anything. Are you ready? It's a whole 5 minutes. It's not a race. So walk carefully. You don't win anything. You certainly don't win a trophy because then the trophy is going to just become more clutter. So there's no winning. You get all 5 minutes. And maybe the first thing you'll do is empty the trash so you can add more things. Unfortunately, a lot of the things from the bathroom are not recyclable. So, all right. Well, so many of you said you're in. The yeses just keep coming. So we can't waste another minute. The energy's high. Our decision making is ruthless. We're going to be brave and we're going for it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Timer's ticking and you are tidying. 5 minutes on the clock. What can you accomplish? I'm going to guess it's more than you imagine. Timer's ticking. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are done. There's our chirpy little timer. Here we go. All right. We'll dismiss that timer and I'll invite you to come on back to our program. How did those 5 minutes go? Oh my gosh, it looks like it went pretty well for a lot of us. My goodness. Tina, in the chat, you'll notice that I put a link to see some resources in Canada for you. Marsha found face cream expired in 2018. So long. Sharon found nail polish and Avon samples and dried up face pads that are supposed to be moist and they're not. So long. Michelle says so many empty glass soap bottles. Hate to throw out sometime, maybe sometime I'll decorate with them. I have the same challenge with those bottles. Yeah, I get it. Mary Jo says I got rid of 61 greeting cards to send to St. Jude's, and she found $40. Mary Jo hit the jackpot. Did anyone else find 40 or more dollars? Right now, Mary Jo's in the lead. Beth says 5 minutes is a long time. And she put all those O's in there. Yes, I agree, Beth, which is why when we say, oh, I'm going to organize all afternoon, all weekend, I'm going to organize for an hour even. How do you keep up that energy and that enthusiasm and that stay focused, right? And making all those decisions for a whole hour. I struggle. 5 minutes, 5, 5, 5, 10, 5, 5, 10. I'm like, look at everything I got done. I love it. Lori has Bactine. I remember, didn't that stuff burn? Expired in 1997. She has a vintage Bactine. It's gone. One file drawer done. Way to go, Margaret Katz. I love it. Stragglers are put away. Gonna tackle those holiday cards next, Sherry says. Karen says, oh yes, let's share some tips on how to know which items to sell and how to go about it. Oh, that's such a good idea. Let's talk about selling in just a moment. I love it. Wash the dishes in the sink, Judy says. Listen, I know I am always putting things in the sink saying I'm letting it soak, but it's a big lie. I'm just procrastinating about doing it. And then I think to myself, I'm not going to be more excited to do it later. Just do it now. And so Judy's doing it. Well done, everyone. That was 5 minutes. And just imagine these little focused bursts of time, what you can accomplish. It's just so very exciting. There was a question about spices and do they expire? Yes, just like personal care products from the bathroom, spices do expire. You can look it up online. You can always check out Still Tasty, STILL TASTY, Still Tasty. That's how you can see if anything has expired, food-wise, perishable-wise. And sometimes you're surprised because it's actually good beyond its like best by date kind of thing. But yeah, spices in general, whole spices are kind of like more like a 2-year window. Ground spices, more like a 1-year window. It's just one of those things that, if you kind of put a little bit between your finger and doesn't have a scent, it's not going to really have a flavor to flavor the food. But also, we just want to be so mindful of like those little pantry bugs and things that love to hang out in expired stuff. So ew. And another good reason to let it go. Oh my gosh. So many of you have so many things that are vintage and we're looking up prices for stuff. Still Tasty. It's STILL TASTY. STILL, Still Tasty, TASTY, stilltasty.com. Wonderful. All right. Well done. And just like personal care products, a very broad umbrella for expiration dates is going to be 3 months for liquid eyeliner and mascara right up against your eye line. So 3 months, liquid eyeliner and mascara. 6 months for lotions, SPF products like sunscreen lotions, not the aerosol so much, but this lotion and bug spray, 6 months. 1 year for products applied to the face, so makeups and foundations and blushes and pencil liners and stuff. And then 2 years for the body. So it's going to be your shampoos and your conditioner, your nail polish, your aftershave, your shaving creams, things like that. So it's a very broad guideline. Now, for most of us, nail polish is a hazardous product. It can also be flammable. So household hazardous waste, just like you would dispose of paint. Now, here in New Jersey, they do say that you can pour the nail polish out into something absorbent, like an old towel or dish towel, paper towel, and then just throw it away. So you can check with the town. Yeah, so many ideas. And 6 months for the sunscreen, because once it's like exposed to air, I'm not like a scientist or a chemist, but the chemical compounds change. And so many dermatologists and doctors have reported someone coming in with a bad sunburn thinking they were protected, but they weren't because the product had actually expired. So you can always check with the manufacturer, which is why it's sort of like a general rule that you can always check, but we certainly just want to keep you safe. And we wouldn't want you to have any, sort of rashes or effects of using something that was beyond its date. So great questions. Wonderful. All right. Well, that was number 5 on our list of 12. We're doing a little countdown together, which brings us to number 4. And number 4 is that dresser drawer. You know the one that you can barely open without pushing things down, the one that you just kind of jam all the random things into, the one you haven't opened in a while. And so that dresser drawer is number 4 on our list. So as we've been talking about this, again, making a list is a great idea. Maybe you're doing that in a notebook. Maybe you're doing it on a scrap of paper. Maybe you're doing it on the back of an envelope. Maybe you're doing a note in your phone. And the note is great because it gives you sort of like 12 ideas. And then maybe as I give you an idea, you're like, oh, and let me add this to my list too. So your list may actually be longer than 12. But here's the thing. We're only then just adding stuff to our to-do lists. And that's not really helpful, right? Because then it's just another thing on a list. I think what's more helpful is scheduling the first step. So what does that look like? And if it's that dresser drawer, then you might say, oh, during the first commercial break from my television show, or 15 minutes before my show comes on, or during the next time I tune in for a program, which is going to be February 1st, here through our library, that's when I'm going to do that dresser drawer. So giving yourself that deadline and making it happen instead of just adding it to a list and then the list is just kind of like never ending. You know that list? Yeah, exactly. So that dresser drawer, I love it. All right, so let's think about what we're going to find in that dresser drawer and have a plan for the things that are going to go out. And so whether that means you're scheduling a pickup, you're adding things to a bag, that would be really helpful. And you're deciding, because if it's been in the drawer so long that you even forgot it was there, and when you finally open the drawer and look and you're like, huh, I didn't even remember I had that. That's usually a telltale sign that you don't need to keep it. You'll just be maybe making up reasons why you think you should, but if you didn't even know you had it, why do we need it? And it's such a good question to ask. So dresser drawer, that dresser drawer is number 4 on our list. Number 3, it's the entryway. It's the entryway. So many of you are having lovely, comments coming into the chat, and you're just sharing lovely thoughts about things you found. Mary Jo found money. Wendy found an antique necklace from a lovely aunt. These are the kinds of things that you're like, gosh, this is one of the benefits of getting organized. We find treasures, and we're going to talk, Karen asked about, the value of things. So we'll be touching on that in just a moment. But number 3 is that entryway. So if you kind of walk into your home and you're stumbling over stuff's in the way, you don't have a great place for keys, there's no place to put bags down, things land on the floor, the mail ends up in a pile, that entryway, it really is your welcome home to the home where it's supposed to be a retreat from the busy, chaotic outside world. And if it feels like it's busy and chaotic indoors, the entryway is a wonderful place to begin. And it might just be something as simple as hanging a hook so your keys always have a place to go. Maybe it's the idea of putting a tray, not a basket, because then a basket can accumulate a lot of things, but a tray, because a tray without a very long lip on the side, you can't put too many things on before they start spilling out, and that would be your telltale sign to deal with the stuff on the tray. But maybe shoes need a place to go, or maybe you just need to put some of the shoes away that are in the entryway because there's too many shoes and they're not the ones you're wearing all the time. So that entryway space, it really, I think, can set the tone or can start your mood for when you come home. And when you come home, if you're tripping over stuff and it's not such a welcoming place, this would be a perfect opportunity to take a look at that entryway. So in the entryway, we just want to make sure that we have a place for the things that you use, your everyday essentials. So that's going to be if you have an employee ID, your keys, your house keys, if you have car keys, your wallet or your everyday handbag or tote or purse, your errand bag that we talked about. If you remember, number 10 was all about that errand bag. We're doing a little countdown, so we're counting down. And this is a perfect opportunity to just do a little tweak in that entryway so you feel welcomed home. Now, number 2 on our list, we're counting it down. So we're down all the way to number 2, and then we've got some awesome questions in the chat. So stay tuned for your answers. And number 2 is office electronics. So whether you have a dedicated office, you have an office area, you have a little desk, there's probably a really good chance that most of us have a printer that we upgraded or the old printer stopped working. Maybe you have a VCR. you have some sort of, electronic or office item that is just not working or you don't need and it needs to be recycled. So here in the United States, for Staples and Best Buys, you can bring in your electronic items that need to be recycled properly at no charge. So this would be the perfect chance to kind of pop in. If you're in the Chelmsford area, you're going to go right to 265 Chelmsford Street. There's a Staples there. Staples and Best Buy. They'll take in your cords and your electronics. Not the big TV. They can't take the big TV, but they can take, the other things, mostly like office-y kinds of things. Now, I just called them before the program started just to confirm their policy for 2024. And I guess it depends who you speak with, but regular monitors, they said no charge. Janet feels like sometimes there's a nominal charge for a monitor. You can always call before you go. Now, I'm using the little plastic tab. Anyone recognize this? Anyone know? Okay, let's see in the chat. Let me hang on. We're going to play a little game. Anyone recognize this little tab? Where does it come from? Anyone recognize it? It's a little, oh, yep. Yeah, look at you guys. You're so on it tonight. I love it. Everyone's going, yep. That's the little tab from the bread bag. Absolutely. So breads and English muffins and vegetables and potatoes and all the things. This is that little tab. So it has like the date and it's got usually the price on it and stuff. So this is the little plastic tab that I take and I put it right over a cord. It's not crimping the cord, so no damage to the cord, but it allows me to then take a marker and label what this cord goes to. And so it's a really inexpensive way of labeling your cords and your plugs. This is the lamp, this is the TV, this is cell phone, this is GPS, this is, all the different things. So if you've been saving them in the drawer and you weren't quite sure what to do with them, that's your opportunity. Janet loves this idea. Yeah, it's such an easy way. You can order a cord labeling kit. It's usually like 25 bucks, and they're going to send you little tabs that look just like that. So you might want to go ahead and repurpose them. So again, if you're like, oh, in my list of things, label cords, and then it doesn't happen. So we're going to get that off your to-do list. That's just sort of like the never-ending to-do list, and let's schedule it. So we really want to schedule your success. Schedule your success. That little window where you say, this is the day that I'm going to run around and label everything. This is the day that, I'm going to work on that dresser drawer. This is the day I'm going to do this or that. Put it on the calendar. Make a date with yourself. And then this is the most important date. It is the most important date. It's the one that brings you peace of mind, makes you, feel so much more comfortable in your home. You become familiar with what you have. You use things up. We're probably not wasting as much money. Like there's so many wins. So that's a very important date and we really can't break it. So VHS tapes, donationtown.org would love for you to donate them. You can log on to donationtown.org, put in your zip code, and then just schedule a pickup and they'll tell you who takes them. So love it. All right, a couple more questions coming in. I'm going to answer hopefully all of them in just a second, but let's get to number 1. So we've counted it down together. Number 12 was all about those holiday stragglers. Number 11, we talked holiday greeting cards. Number 10, returns that needed to be made. Number 9, it was the gifts, and sometimes that's a tough one, but I told you my feeling about gifts, that it's just the physical representation of the love or thoughtfulness. You already have the gift. You don't need the actual thing, always. Number 8 was 2023 leftovers, and for a lot of us, that was a bag of donations that never made it out the door. Number 7, we talked tax forms and paperwork. We've got a lot more to come on paper. That's going to be the April 4th program coming up, and we'll put those links in the chat for you. Number 6, we're talking kitchen counter. Yes, it's time. Get one thing off the kitchen counter. It can make a huge difference. Number 5, it was the medicine cabinet or vanity drawer, and we did that one together. Number 4, it was the dresser drawer. Number 3, the entryway. Pick up the shoes. Give yourself a hook for things. Maybe catch up on the mail and the magazines. That was such a good question earlier. There was a question about magazines. I mean, listen, our lovely library allows us to come in and read our magazines. You might be able to get them digitally. You might call and pause your subscription as if you were on vacation and see if you miss it. And chances are you're going to get back the time that you would have spent, the advertisements in the magazine that make you want to buy even more clutter. And then you've got to actually hold on to the magazines themselves. And for the magazines that you are getting, if you read them, I have a 1-year rule. So if I hold on to any of them, and I actually do get one magazine that is a gift to me from a family member, and it's a cooking magazine, and I keep 1 year's worth because I find that they repeat a lot of the same things the same time of year going forward. And so that's just been for me and maybe for you too. So of course, then number 3, the entryway. Number 2 was our office electronics. And number 1, I feel like we need a drum roll. Number 1, can we do a drum roll? Email. Email. Oh, right. I mean, I feel like we could do a whole 1 hour on decluttering our digital devices, but here's the thing with email. It gets out of control very quickly. But I've got some really good news. It will take you approximately 6 weeks at the most, probably less, of unsubscribing, diligently unsubscribing to every email that you receive that you no longer wish to receive. Now, hopefully that's not mine. I send out a tiny newsletter every week. I've been doing it since 2006. I think we have 65,000 readers, and it's a teeny tiny newsletter you can read in 2 minutes or less is my goal. So hopefully you don't unsubscribe from that one. But all the other ones, especially if you bought things over the holiday season and the purchase automatically subscribed you to coupons and updates and all the things. And remember, one company may have more than one mailing list. So you've unsubscribed from the daily updates, but you didn't unsubscribe from the weekly coupons. And so it's all about that. So here's the thing. 6 weeks or less of diligently unsubscribing from those emails that you don't wish to receive, you will see a significant, I mean, I can't say for sure, I didn't do like any scientific proof on it, but I did it for my own email. It is mind-boggling how many emails and how much time I was spending. So one of the easiest things we can do before we get to your final questions, here we go. So when you get into your email program, whatever you're using, Hotmail or Outlook or Gmail or whatever you're using for your email, when you go into your email, there will be a search feature. It's going to have usually that little magnifying glass. Sometimes it's hard to find. It's usually easier done on a larger computer, a laptop or a desktop. The mobile, right? You could do it, but sometimes some of the options aren't available because it can't have all the options on a tiny screen. So I'll say if I'm working with my email and trying to declutter it, I do try to do it from a larger device. But whatever screen you've got, maybe even your iPad. So we are looking to go into your email. And then there's going to be a search bar. And on that search bar, you can type in a date. So you could say 2019, and it will show you all your emails from 2019. Those will probably be a lot easier and faster to delete than maybe going through the current emails. You could also put in an email address or a word like coupon or sale or a store name. Maybe you order a lot from the store that has the bullseye as their logo. And so you've got a lot of order confirmations. You could scroll your email, all 10,000 plus of them maybe. It's going to take a while. So if you were to just type in that word, right, begins with a T, they'll all come up. And then right above the first email, there should be a little box, a little checkbox, and it'll say select all. And that would allow you to select them all. Usually you see 50 to 100 on your screen. If there's more on second and third pages, it's not taking those. It's just the ones you see on the screen, usually 50 to 100 at one time. But that's a lot easier than clicking, right? 50 to 100 times. And of course, if you select all, but you wanted to keep one next to the one you want, just take the tick mark off and then hit delete. If you accidentally deleted something you want, immediately go into trash and you can recover it and bring it back into your inbox. There's such a great feeling, just like so many of you are sharing about going into your phone and your photos and deleting, hundreds or thousands, right? You're like, go, go, go away, go away. The email, it's just such a rewarding feeling. You don't really see the difference so much because it's digital, but you do notice that you have more time back in your day because you're not dealing with so many. Oh my gosh, we're having a contest going in the chat about who has the most photos. And my goodness, yeah, there's a lot going on. Oh, how lovely. So if you'd like to get my newsletter, please do. You can go to jamienovak.com, jamienovak.com. It's just my name, jamienovak.com. And we just started the newsletter. Again, it's coming out for the new year. Right on the homepage, it says subscribe. There's also a free calendar you can print to follow along with the daily toss of the day. So every day on my website and on all my social media, I give you one teeny tiny toss. And you can print the free calendar to follow along. And you can do that right at jamienovak.com. So I love this. So many of you are taking a large task and breaking it up like 10 photos a day instead of trying to do 10,000 at once. So I love that we're already in this idea of like bite sizes, and that's where we really see that success. My goodness, this has been so much fun to join you for the first program of the new year. I know we have some questions that came in. I'm going to try scrolling back through chat to find them. They came in so fast and furious. So if I overlook it, please put it in again. I'll start with the ones that came in the Q&A. So let's begin with those charitable donation requests. And we're going to talk about selling in just a minute. I know Karen's waiting for that answer as well. Charity donation requests. So the challenge is that, once you're sort of on it, it's really difficult, if not impossible, to get off of it. Plus, you've probably had your information sold to others. So it's one of those things, but she does keep the envelopes for the Garden Club seed exchange, which is a perfect way of repurposing those envelopes. Carol, there's a question from you about following up, but I apologize. I'm not sure what that's referencing. So if you could pop your question in again with a little more detail, that would be awesome. Old batteries. Yeah, so old batteries, that is going to be a hazardous waste. Sometimes Whole Foods or Wegmans has like a little place in when you first walk in to drop things, like where they have their plastic bag recycle as well. Old batteries sometimes can go back to a Home Depot or a Lowe's. You can certainly check with them as well, or your town Department of Public Works. So that might be really helpful. Oh, the emails that don't have a from, I know they do make me nervous. And anyone that sends me something that I don't recognize, I don't open it. I just delete it. It's a personal choice, but it does make me concerned as to why I'm getting that email. So if anything, gives you that feeling of like, I'm not sure, I never open it, and I would certainly never click a link. And if you can see where you think it's coming from, you can contact them and say, did you send me something? And a lot of times they're going to say no. So I would just trust your feeling on that. Monique's wondering about textile recycling for stained or ripped textiles. Those are usually best put into, the bins that you'll find like in a parking lot of like a grocery store or something, and it is for donation. The clothing that's put into those bins is oftentimes sold for rags. So that would be a great opportunity to put your textiles in there. Some towns also do have textile recycling. Let's see, H&M women's clothing stores, H&M women's clothing stores. They take men's or women's textiles for clothing, for textile recycling, and for, year round, and no charge, of course. So there you go. I love it. So many of you are having, yes, Amy, H&M, thank you. So many wonderful ideas of what everyone's been doing. I'm just scrolling back through the chat here and just noticing what everyone's been working on. So we'll be back the first Thursday of the month in February, March, and April. So please do come if you have any suggestions for future topics. We're always open to those as well. Batteries to Staples, Anita says. So there was a question about batteries, right over to Staples, and Ace Hardwares for batteries as well. Oh, Marsha, I'm so glad you found me as well. Yes, unwanted prescriptions and medications and supplements to the pharmacy is perfect. Police station also does have a drop box as well. If you're looking for medication drop off, you can open up your Google Maps on your phone. And you know how when you open Google Maps, you can, so Google Maps looks like that little pin. When you open Google Maps, you can search. See how it says search here, right there, search here. And you can just search medication drop off. Medication drop off. I'm going to do it now as we're talking. Medication drop off. And when you do that, it's going to give you little pins on the map as to where you can take your medications. So medication drop off, just search it in Google Maps and it'll help you. Oh my gosh, everyone is so excited to get started and keep it going. We had a wonderful jump start together. So all we have to do is keep it going. I love this. It looks like there's a lot of questions about technology and digital decluttering. I'm going to make a note that that might be a popular topic. Yes, jamienovak.com if you want to sign up for the newsletter. Karen, you asked about selling things and valuing things. Certainly, it's such a good question. So if you've got some treasures and items, you can always go to eBay. I'm not saying that you're necessarily going to sell it there, and I'm not saying that that's going to be your definitive guide. But if you were to go to eBay and search for the item that you have, it's going to probably, hopefully, come up with some items that you that look like yours. And then on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see where it says show sold only. Show sold only. And when you go ahead and click that, it's going to show you the date that an item like yours sold and how much it's sold for. And that's going to be a much more, I think, helpful guide than just in general. So good stuff, everyone. Well, we'll be back February 1st. Jamie, Novak, keep this, toss that, written in checklist format in oversized font, and you can get the free calendar at jamienovak.com. You all have so many ideas. Thank you so much for continuing to share your thoughts in the chat. Great job, everyone. As we log off our program tonight, if you'd like to join us in the chat, let us know what you're going to do next. So we already had a little jump start together. Join us in the chat so I could cheer you along. Let us know what you're going to do next and when. Is it tonight, tomorrow? What's your next step? So that's going to be the important thing. Jojo, I have your information. Thank you. All right. Is everyone ready to go? Join us in the chat and let us know, what are you working on? When are you doing it? That's the important part, because without that, nothing much happens. So jamienovak.com to sign up for the newsletter. I see some of you are putting that in. Let's see. Oh, we've got a desk tomorrow. I love it, Debbie. Way to go. Yes, that's the idea. Fantastic. Everyone's going to be busy, busy, busy. This is great. All right, let's see if we can get those links in the chat for you to sign up for the upcoming program. So if you haven't already, we do hope to see you back February 1st. I'm reading everyone's goal, everyone's promise to themselves. You're making a date for success. You're scheduling a win. I love everything about this. Way to go. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening and spending it here with us. I can't wait to do it again. We'll be back on February 1st, 7 o'clock, and you would want to go ahead and register for that. That way you'll receive that reminder email, and you can see all of that right here. I'll put that link to register in the chat, and you should be able to click. Oh, wait, Marty beat me to it. Oh, this is great. Oh, wonderful. Well, you all have so many ideas. Cheers to a clutter-free new year. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in February. So long, everyone. Job well done. So proud of you all. Gold stars around, Cynthia. Take care.